Ugliest Forest. It kind of, I wrote it the exact same time I wrote Hobo Camp. They're kind of companion pieces. Maybe told at different perspectives. But we see that all the time, is these little patches of woods on the side of the road, and you just kind of, you take them for granted, like, oh, it's a little patch of woods, it's kind of nice to drive by, usually not walking through them, but maybe there's people that walk through them, or they look at them all the time, and then one day, you know, and the reason it's the ugliest forest is because, you know, it's kind of the orphan forest. It might be a secondary growth forest. It might be just full of the wrong type of plants. If you're down in South Florida, melaleuca or Brazilian pepper, it's just, you know, an ugly forest. And if it were in a national park, well, they'd get to work quick on trying to get rid of the exotics and controlling them and just getting native flora back there. But because it's this piece of fallow, you know, real estate on the edge of town, or kind of in the outskirts or middle, you know, or somewhere in town, it just kind of sits there and it's feral. But you know, birds and bears enjoy it depending on how big it is. So it serves an ecological and scenic and societal function. Yeah, and then one day, you know, the stakes show up and the big machines and the sign, the notice with this is parcels being developed, and next thing you know, the ugliest forest that you ever saw is gone, and it gets torn down, and you know, a shopping center goes in and a parking lot, and we've seen it too many times, you know, and it's like, oh, this big glitzy shopping center, and then 5 years later it's vacant signs in the shopping center, and they're building, or 10 years later they're building a new shopping center next to it, and sometimes you just wonder, what the hell are we doing? So Ugliest Forest, yeah, it tries to speak for the trees that don't have that protection, you know, at a state or national or local level, and that are just at the whimsy of some developer going in and cutting it all down and putting up a shopping center. And maybe that's in the big scheme of things. I mean, I'm not here to vilify anyone, but we don't know what we miss with those little patches of woods until they're gone. And then you're like, oh God, I miss that. And the bears and the birds and the raccoons and anything else, the bobcats in there, they miss it too. Where do they go? They have to run off to another stretch of wilderness, or, you know, they get displaced. They're like hobos, you know. All of a sudden, they're wanderers. They have to find a new patch. So that's what the song's about. And it's, again, kind of a companion piece to Hobo Camp.